for the alligator feeding, right?
Right.
Do I need to open up the gate to make you guys excited? It's gonna work? Alright guys, we are going to do our alligator feeding right now, so that does require some audience participation. I'll take that little girl right there and a little boy there, and we'll get started. No? I'm serious. No? Okay. Well, in that case then, I did bring my own food, okay? Don't worry, I brought my own food. So, who's hungry? You guys aren't hungry? No? Nobody?
I am.
Oh, it's good stuff, guys. Now, rats may not be on your menu, but for the alligators...
Huh?
They love
that's what I'm calling you.
Okay, yeah, they definitely like them. So right now we are doing our 3 o'clock alligator feeding demonstration, and an hour from now at 4, we'll be doing your steak show at those bleachers over there, guys. Okay, now right now it is a feeding demonstration. I want to put emphasis on the word demonstration because if you take a look, we have a whole lot of alligators out there in a very small bucket of rats. So what we're doing is a feeding so that you may observe their feeding behavior, not necessarily so that they have something in their bellies. Okay, so again, it's so that you can observe that behavior. Now, when we actually feed them for their sustenance, we'll dump several hundred pounds of meat in here at one time. We literally back up a truck and dump it in here, and that's what these animals actually live off of. And we'll do these large feedings of raw beef and raw chicken once every couple of months, okay? Now, the alligators are able to eat at these intervals because they are reptiles. They don't metabolize their food like we do as mammals, as in they don't produce their own body heat. So that does mean they eat a fraction of the amount of food that we do as a mammal. That means we could take one of these big fat guys like that one right there and not feed him for an entire year, quite literally 12 months with no food, and he would actually survive 12 months with no food. Now, he'd love to meet that little kid after 12 months, but the point is they can survive these very long time periods without any food at all because they are reptiles, okay? Let's see if we can get one of them to come up. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Look, that one's like, I
there we go. Pay attention. Up here. Up here.
No, he's speaking the
come on, buddy. Right there. You can do it. He's thinking about it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so they definitely do like the rats, guys. Get another one over here. Pay attention, guys. Come on, wake up. Alright, that guy was on it. Alright, folks, so we are feeding these already killed rats that we actually get from a rat farm. Such disgusting places do actually exist, believe it or not. Okay? Now, we get them in frozen solid, we thaw them out, and then feed them off to the alligators. Gives them all the fur and then the bones as well, which just raw meat doesn't usually provide, which is something that is essential in the diet of these animals. Now, in the wild, the alligator is an opportunistic hunter. He's going to eat basically anything small and easy to capture. They like things like raccoons, turtles, fish, wading birds, little girls in red shirts, anything small. Well, really, anything small and easy to get. As far as alligator attacks on people go, it's actually a really rare thing because, honestly, they're too lazy, okay? You're too big, it's too much work, and that's too much effort for them. So they don't usually attack people just because you're large. It's a pain in the butt. Same reason you don't go and stop your car on the highway every time you see a cow. Who'd want to do that? I'm going to go to McDonald's, you know? That's kind of the way that they look at it as well. Now, alligator attacks on people do occur every year, though, but when they do happen, it's almost always because somebody was doing something very, very foolish. Anybody want to take a wild guess what that foolish thing might be? What am I doing, guys? Feeding them. Feeding the alligator. Do not do this. For one, feeding an alligator is illegal. It gets you a $5,000 fine on your vacation. Not a good way to spend it. The other thing is that once you feed him, it breaks his natural fear of humans, causes him to associate people with food. Then if you come back without food, you guys are the food. Okay? It's not a joke. The source of almost all alligator attacks is usually someone having fed that alligator, and that's what makes them attack people. Now, normally in the wild, these animals are afraid of us. They stay away. But again, once they're fed, that's when we do have these issues like that. Now, a very common question people ask me when I'm feeding them, because I feed them, do the alligators have some sort of bond or friendship or relationship with me? What do you think the answer to that is?
No.
Absolutely not, guys. There's an alligator, not a Labrador. Now, you're all laughing, but to some people, they don't see a difference. They feed him, and they feed him regularly, and they're like, oh, well, he's my buddy, he's my friend, right? Now, if you watch When I dangle my hand over here with a rat, if I don't move my hand out of the way fast enough, the alligator absolutely will jump up, latch onto your hand, rip it off, and swallow it right in front of your own face, okay? That is not a joke. Come here, big guy. Come on, big one. Up here, big guy. There you go, you can do it. Oh, don't be lazy. Come on, get up here. Get up here. There, you can do it. Come on, quit being lazy.
Too heavy to get up on him.
There we go. Now he's nice and gentle. He's not too bad. But like I said, they don't really see the difference between you and the food. So if I just take my bare hand and dangle it over here, well, they absolutely will jump up and they will latch onto your hand, guys. Okay? Again, the alligator is not your friend. I have zero relationship with any of the animals.
The rat hanging outside his mouth.
It's funny, no matter how many times I say that, I still have people ask me all the time, yeah, but you trained him to jump up and just barely almost bite you, right? I mean, you did that on purpose. No, guys, you just gotta know how to handle the alligator. Alright, now, our largest alligator in here is actually this guy. He's right... Oh, I missed. He's right back there. He's got his head poked up a little bit. Now, our largest one in here is actually 13 feet long, and he's somewhere around 60 years old. That's, that guy.
Oh my God!
That's the largest one in here at 13 feet long, and that is a big alligator. But keep in mind, the record size for an alligator is actually 19 feet long out of Louisiana. And alligators have been known to reach ages up over 100 years in captivity, so they're very long-lived, very large animals. Now, this alligator right here is special. Let me tell you guys about him. Most of the alligators in this enclosure were actually farmed here. They're from our babies over there at the grow-out pen. Eventually, they just come here to be fat and happy and for tourists to take pictures of. We don't function as a real farm. Now, this guy, on the other hand, is what we call a nuisance alligator. He's one that showed up in someone's backyard swimming pool or ate Fluffy or something like that. Okay? Now, when these kind of things happen, and the alligator's unfortunately caught and destroyed, but this guy was taken into a rescue facility. Now, his name is George. Come here, George. Come here, George. Boop, boop. Come on, George. Come on, George. Boop, boop. Come on, George. Jump up here. There we go. Now, you notice, I said his name, and as soon as I started saying his name, he really kind of woke up, and then he jumped up for it, and the other alligators didn't. Now, does George there know his name? Well, when I take girls here, I'm like, hey, George, come here. He comes up, I'm like, yeah, they know me. But no, in reality, he does not know me, folks. The place where he was kept at before, when they fed him, they would say, George. So he learned to associate the sound of George with getting food. He doesn't know what his name is. For all I know, his name is really Bob or George or whatever. But it's not. It could literally be anything. But the point is that once you feed them, if you cause them to associate a certain sound with being fed, they will associate. It's just like Ivan Pavlov and his dogs. You ring a bell and they water their mouth. So that's how he was taught to associate. The rest of our alligators were taught with a different kind of sound, a popping sound. See how they instantly wake up? This guy right in front of me, as soon as you start making that popping sound, he becomes very interested. You're still very lazy, though. Come on. So really, any sound you can cause him to associate with being fed. It's just basic classical conditioning. There you go. Come on, buddy. There you go. Okay. So that's a big boy right there. Now, watch, when I throw the rats out into the water out here, you'll see the alligators smash into each other. They sometimes bite each other, things like that. It does look pretty rough because, well, if you were a person out there, you'd not be a happy camper. But for the alligators, that sort of behavior is actually normal, and they don't usually hurt each other. But don't get me wrong, they are cannibalistic animals, and on occasion they do actually kill and consume one another, but that's a rare thing as well. Now you might notice an alligator in here that might be missing a foot or a leg, something like that. That's something that does occur both in captivity but also in the wild. And in the wild on multiple occasions I have actually seen two-legged alligators. Oh, wow. Got to keep in mind that I start out with 4 legs. So there you have an animal lost his arm and his leg in the wild and survived. And you guys are not impressed, huh? Well, think about it like this. As a person, if you just lost your hand without medical attention, you could potentially bleed out and die. While the alligator can lose his arm and his leg, and the infectious swamp heal over, survive, and eat you. That's impressive. Okay? That's very impressive. So the alligator actually has an amazingly strong immune system to be able to take such a beating and still survive. Now, don't worry, I didn't forget about you guys down here. We're going to get one of them over here to jump up for us. The problem is ones down here are usually lazy. Oh, I guess not. Oh! Up here. Oh, there you go. You got it. There you go. You want to come down here with the rest of us? Come on. Oh, yeah, he loves me, man. Yeah. Loves me to death. Yeah, again, guys, the alligators do not like you. Now we're going to go down the other side. Feed one of them over here for everybody to be able to see over.